It's your boy Mr Ugandan Schnack, aka Mr Schnack, and I'm back with another video. I hope you guys enjoyed my last video with Double, and I hope you guys have subscribed to Whamtech. So if you're not, I'm going to give you a second to subscribe now, and leave a like and comment below what you thought about the other video if you haven't already. And yeah, today is another segment of Chat with Schnack, episode 2. We're back again with Tom holding me accountable because yeah, we missed the consistency. We're growing this year. But yeah, this one is going to be, as you can see in the title, an interview with my pops, just getting to know a bit about him, me asking some questions that I've always wanted to know, and just having a discussion about life. So I hope you guys can get some few gems and tips from here, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please, once again, leave a like and comment. Every comment actually helps the YouTube algorithm show this video to more people. So yeah, help us out, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, man. It's your boy, Mr Ugandan Schnack, and I'm out. So I'm gonna go take it back from the beginning, before I was born, and just ask you a bit about yourself, just for me to understand a bit more about you, and to maybe ask a few questions. So what was it like coming to London back then for you?
I left Uganda in 1990, going to America in Oklahoma University. That's where I was given a place to study. But to Oklahoma, I passed via London, and I stayed here for 2 weeks, and I met my friends who convinced me otherwise, and I ended up staying here.
Around what age?
I was 25.
25, so almost the same age that I'm at now.
Yeah.
How did you find it then? Oh, let me ask, how did Jaja, for those that don't know, Jaja means grandmother, how did she take it, being you here coming at such a young age and leaving her?
She was really excited and very happy for me because she knew my ambitions. I wanted to study. She was actually very, very happy to see that I had left, because things in Uganda at that time were not moving good for me as she wanted it to be. Yeah, so she was excited when I left.
So what do you think is the difference between her parenting and parents of today letting their children go to different countries? Do you think there's a difference?
There is a big difference. I wouldn't say that big, but there is a difference in that parents back home, they take their children to be much of their supporters, especially as they grow old. And they were very much scared of their children going to countries where they have no clue, no relatives, nobody. So they found it like scary for one to just leave your country and go somewhere you don't know. But for me in particular, it wasn't that bad, because my senior brothers, my sisters had already been overseas or abroad for so many years. More than 10 of my brothers in the family have already lived outside for years, and they came back.
So do you think for Jaja it was easy for her to do that because you wasn't the first for her?
Yeah.
Whereas if you was the first,
I think I was the fourth.
Okay.
With her children, so it was okay for her. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So did you feel like you had a responsibility then to those back home and to her then?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, yes. I knew I had responsibility for those I left too young, my brothers and sisters. I felt like, yes, like now I'm here. If all goes well, I'll be chipping in to help where I could.
So then where did you meet Mum? Or was there always an intention to then have a family here? Or did you want to have a family back home?
I left your mom as my girlfriend back home, and I promised her that if I settle wherever I'm going, I'll make sure you join me. After 2 years settling in, I made arrangements for her to come and join me. She joined me in 1992, 2 years after I came in.
Oh, okay. So then what made you decide that I'm not going to go back to Uganda? Or did you ever have a feeling that you may want to go back to Uganda and start a family there? Or was it just meant to be just you two here and then eventually go back?
It took us a while to have children, from 92 until 96 when you were born. That's 4 years. But during that time, we had not yet decided whether we're gonna stay here or going back home, because we had a lot to achieve, and we had not yet gotten there to do what we wanted to do. My goals were to ensure that my brothers and sisters, plus your mom's side, your uncles and aunties, there were those who were still young and needed our help. So we decided to say, okay, we hold on before we have kids. Let us chip in and help those who are behind.
So how come you feel like it's almost sounds like you feel obliged to help those that are back home, and how come you felt that sense of responsibility yourself to do it, and mum?
Yeah, I lost my dad when I was young, and I knew at the time how it feels not to have a parent. I knew how hard it was to get school fees or to live a normal life. And at that time, not so many of my brothers were well off to look after everyone. So when I got the opportunity to have some extra money aside to help in, I was obliged to help, because I was helped as well to go to higher education via my brothers. So I thought it is part of the family to help where you can.
Do you feel like you sacrificed your goals to help those back home?
Yeah, I did, because I knew for me I still had plenty of time to make it up. So
I think I can definitely agree with that, because even me myself, like, it's funny asking you that question.
yeah.
I'm thinking of it in my position, the way I am now, especially for my siblings. I don't actually do things because I have to for them, but because I want to. So it's even strange that I thought to ask that, but yeah, I understand where you're coming from, because as your siblings, you only want the best for them, and during those times it would probably be just you and mum, so you didn't have obligations of kids and this, that and the other, so it kind of made sense for you to be like, I want to give back home, which makes sense. What would you have done differently
if I didn't have those people behind home?
Yeah,
Probably my life here would have been more luxurious than it was. Probably I would have gone different places in the world to exploit all the chances I had. That's not much, but it would be a different lifestyle altogether.
Going back to them times, okay, you're around, let's say 27 to 29, it's been 2 years here with mum. How many kids did you aspire to have when you were young? Because I know Jaja had 33.
Yeah.
So for you, how many did you aspire to have?
I wanted to have 2 kids.
Oh, okay.
That was my aim, 2 kids.
Yeah.
Because in my life, my hobby is traveling. So I wanted to travel the world, and I had made a resolution that by 50 I would have conquered at least half of the world. That was in my dreams, that I have to travel the world. So with many children, I couldn't have achieved that. So I decided that I'm going to have 2 kids, and that's it. Yeah.
So in raising us, me and my brother at the time, did your responsibilities decrease in terms of giving back home and to those that you're responsible for? Did it become harder? Were there any pressures? Like, what was the main focus and priorities?
There was no pressure, because as you were growing, you didn't have much to ask. You were a bit at that time, when you have a child of 1 or 2, you don't spend that much, apart from buying toys and small stuff. My contribution back home, it stayed almost the same. You and your brother, the only kids I was looking at, we ended up moving up and down. Even at my workplace, I used to take you and you sleep in my bus as I'm driving. So from the word go, the two of you were too closer to me than even your mom.
Oh wow, that's strange. I didn't even think about it like that. I can definitely say, in terms of when we was young, I can 100% vouch for that. We did everything. Most of the things that I do now probably would have started from back then. You learn how to ride a bike, we learned how to swim, we'd always go cinema. Like I said, it was on the bus whenever we wanted to go on the bus, and we did so many things. Like, do you think then in having more kids there's a difference then in terms of the amount of time that you have for them and even the love? Does the love change?
The love doesn't change, but the time given to them changes. As you grow old, the responsibility become more. As you have more children, you have more responsibilities. Where I used to do 8 hours, I had to do more than that in order to make sure that my children get whatever they wanted.
And 100% I agree, because it was one of the things that I'd written down. Even like most of the time, even thinking back to when we was young, if whatever we wanted, it's even when you think about it, it's mad, because almost everything that we wanted we got, type of thing, which is a blessing, and we can only thank you for that, compared to I guess what other families would have said. Like, so you did sacrifice a lot. And did that, would you say then there was a lot of pressure then growing as we got older?
Yeah, the pressure was mounting a little bit, but it was because the demands were changing. The demands before 10 are not the same. Like when you get 10 and above, your demands started becoming more, especially on your clothes, because you are growing too tall very quickly. The size of the shoes are becoming expensive. You start to see the world. So you traveling to Uganda, it was becoming expensive. You used to be children, now you are growing to adult tickets, so everything started changing rapidly.
So then that's when the time began to decrease. And
so instead of giving you more time, I had to spend less time with you and look for money in order to continue with the life I wanted my children to have.
100%. I can't fault you for that. And it's weird for me, I guess sometimes I think back and always say, I can imagine a life where we don't have the things, but we have more time with you, and sometimes you don't know which is better or which you'll gain more from. Because at times you can say, as kids, you're thinking, if you have more time but you don't have the PlayStation, you might be upset. But in hindsight, looking at it now, at times I kind of wish that we had the more time and less things, because I guess now learning, which is something that I wouldn't have known when I was a kid, that when you're young, all these things are materialistic and you might not need them in the future, and you grow. So like now with Astra, I used to tell him, don't worry about getting shoes now, you're gonna grow and the shoes are gonna go. But when you're young, you don't actually understand that. Like, you rather have the shoes than the time. So you're thinking, oh wow, like, and even the difference between them and us, like, you taught us how to ride a bike, you taught us swimming, and like you said, with the more kids that you had, the less time that you had for them. So for them already, they've had a different experience to us, type of thing. So then, I guess, then what would you change? In terms of, would you go back and change those things?
Yeah, if I could, yes. I would have spent more time with them than looking for money.
Even us as well, or no?
With you, I think I had all the time and the money. But as the family grew big, I needed more money. Yet I had less time.
I think for I can't speak for all my siblings, but I guess for me, there was always that pressure of, I don't think I understood money. So I think at a young age, I guess at times I faulted you for not having the time. But yet, looking at it now, it was almost impossible for you to have the time and the money at the same time. but you don't normally understand this when you're young. So you
Yeah.
think, oh, I'd rather my dad be here than maybe to get the PlayStation or this, that, and other. And then for me, I guess that's where the relationship, when there's less time, there's less of a relationship
Yeah.
to build. And then the more kids, and then there's even less relationship to build and whatnot. And then from there, that's where everything kind of changes. And yeah, so then how was life for you then during those times? Was you ever stressed? Because I know, like now, me being at my age, I haven't experienced as much as you've experienced, and I'm at the age that you came to London now. So for me, at the age that I'm at, I can't even imagine what you was going through, knowing that you came here, you was by yourself, you had to get a job, you had to pay bills, you had to look after yourself, you was also thinking about starting a family here. So was you ever stressed, and how did you relieve those stresses?
I have never been stressed, not until I had, 4 kids, 4 or 5 children, and I got stressed at the time I left UK to go back to Uganda to to start up a business. That's the time I was stressed, because things didn't go the way I wanted in Uganda. That stressed me a lot. I lost time with you, and I didn't get the money. That is the only time I have been stressed in my life.
Do you regret that time?
I don't regret it at all, because it was a lesson. It was a good experience to get to know how one can live without money. At that time when I went back, I felt like I have never worked in my life, and people were looking at me like as if I'm a lost person. How could I leave London to Uganda and stay the way I stayed? But for me it was important, because it gave me a lesson, and it gave me a chance to get to know exactly how I can do it if I want to do it again. So much as it stressed me, but at the end it paid me off. Yeah.
I think for me, let me not say more so growing up, but when I've reached around the 20s here and I've started to understand a bit more about life, I see many similarities in myself from you that I've got. For example, the risk taking. Like you said, you went back to Uganda, you took a risk, it didn't go well, and you didn't care what anybody said. And as I'm growing up, I realize I'm also the same way. I've taken so many risks. Even for you, for example, you took a risk by coming to London. I've taken risks and travelled to so many different countries by myself, and I guess I got that from you, because I wouldn't have been able to take these risks if I hadn't seen someone also do the same things that I wanted to do. So I can only thank you for that. And did you ever feel scared then when I was going off? Because I think the first time I travelled alone, I was probably 17 when I went to Italy. Did it ever scare you when I was going out?
It has never scared me. Actually, I was just proud of you at that age, to do what other children couldn't do at the time. Much as it didn't please your mom going up and down, for me it was joy, because I know, okay, I've got this boy who is determined to be what he wants to be. It never scared me a bit. I was just proud of you, and every time I remember telling you, go for it, follow your heart. I'm here. You can lean on me anytime. Anything, let me know. I'll support you 100%. So I was never scared. And I knew all the places you went to. They are in first world, so I couldn't think otherwise that you'll get spoiled or you'll be killed or you'll be in problems. Because of the way I raised you, I knew who you were. So I was 100% that you'll be safe and you'll achieve what you want to achieve. Yeah.
Do you know, for me, what I'd say, 100% I can agree with that. I think in life so far, with everything that I've done, traveling, modeling, basketball, whatever you name it, I think having you in my corner has definitely helped me a lot to be able to just know that I can do whatever I want in this world, and I'll always have your support, which kind of meant a lot to me growing up, especially when I found the love for basketball. It kind of steered me in the right direction. I think having only, let's say, because mum didn't really support me in what I wanted to do, if both of you at the time didn't support me, I don't know where I would have been, even mentally, if I'm honest. Like, so I was always very, very happy, and people can see in my videos and my Instagram and everything that I do, I always say that you're the person that supported me the most when it comes to everything that I wanted to do. And so yeah, for me, probably one of the worst times in my life, not even knowingly, would probably be when you went to Uganda. Purely based on I didn't understand. And for me, what I would have liked would have been a conversation to know that, okay, this is what I'm doing, or for you to maybe trusted me a bit more in terms of, I'm going to Uganda to do this and these are the goals. And it's weird because I know at 16, 15 you're probably thinking he's young, but for me it was just like, wow, dad is gone. And it's weird because I almost feel like we were babied to the point where we was always so used to having you, and then you went, and I feel like at the time you went, it was the most crucial in terms of our relationship, because that's when you're kind of growing into a man, and I felt like he wasn't there, so a lot of things I kind of either taught myself or had to just kind of do by myself type of thing, which is something for me, like as we go on and we talk, as it defined me in terms of the kind of person I became. So I kind of became more quiet during that period, because it's not that we didn't have a relationship with mum, but we didn't at the same time, if that makes sense. So I don't know, how did, even you hearing that, how does that make you feel?
Even at the time I was away for that year and a half almost, that's what one of the things which stressed me. I felt like I'm disappointed. I've disappointed my children. I haven't got the money which I had gone for. The business didn't mature the way I wanted, yet I haven't been with you. That lost time, I was worried that it will never be found again. I came to a point I said to regret, why did I go? I would have been there with my children. They would have understood that we don't have enough money. But at the same time, since I got a good experience out of it, I said, yeah, these are young kids. I'll catch up with them anytime. As they grow up, if I'm still alive, they'll get to know exactly how things work. Because before I left, I felt like, okay, I've been there for them. I know they love me. And that is the most thing I wanted, because I knew your love, the relationship I had with you, as my children, I knew it will never perish. It was a matter of time coming back, and I put you in the way I want you to be, and things start rolling again. It didn't roll as quick as it was before I left, but it rolled, and I think we got back together as I wanted.
I think for me, what I'd especially like now is knowing that our younger siblings now are around the same age. So I guess from seeing how we were raised, the relationship with them now has to be your priority even more than before, if that makes sense. And sometimes even sacrifice having the money, because what I've realized with you especially, where there's a will, there's a way. So even if we've always been struggling or whatever, you've always found a way. So I don't doubt you in that regard. But whereby my siblings are in those ages, 13 to 16, it's so important for you to be there for them. And I guess one thing, like, it's weird, most people will probably disagree with me, but you leaving and bringing Mama Arla into our life and my sisters was also a blessing for me, weirdly enough, a lot of people probably not agree with that, and they probably think it's stupid, but it gave me an escape. It's weird. Some people think having that one family for your whole life is a blessing, but sometimes it can be a curse because you're trapped.
Yeah.
There's nowhere for you to go.
Yeah.
Everything you feel in that one house. But for me, I'd say whenever I was going through things, I knew I could run to South and come and see my dad and just get away. So as much as a lot of people may have said that it was bad or this, that and other, did people's words hurt you? Because I know a lot of people said a lot of things.
Me, I'm a kind of person who doesn't care what people say. Because in this world, I grew up when my dad raised me or raised us. He always told us, every man by himself. People can talk, can say whatever they want. It doesn't bother me at all because they're not contributing to your life. The words don't kill. The words don't make me sick. And they are talking out of ignorance. Sometimes they are talking things they have no clue of. When somebody criticizes you in this life, it shouldn't bother you at all, as long as you know you are doing the right thing at that particular time. Anything which is not against the law in any way, whether the religious laws, whether the normal life laws, to me is okay. I can take in whatever people want to say, whatever they say to me. I'm not bothered.
So even with that then, so for you, I guess even me, I'm the same way. I guess I got that from you. I don't really care what people say. However, I care what people say about you and our family, and I guess that's just my fault and something that for me I have to work on. Because for me, I don't know, growing up, especially from those young ages, when you start to hear the little rumors, it would make me angry. And I grew to hate a lot of people because of those things. And sometimes people think that words are small, or they think you're young and you don't understand, but you do. So a lot of the times, even in our communities, I didn't want to go to certain places because if I heard something, I was going to get angry and I didn't want to hear this, that and other. So did it ever, because I know a lot of people to this day, they talk about both of us now because of the things we do, and they'll never understand, like you said. But the things that people have said about me, for example, how did that make you feel? Because it's one thing to feel nothing about yourself, but when someone's talking about your child, how does that make you feel?
At first, I used to be upset. But the good thing, I'm a kind of person who will confront you there and then if I hear you saying, talking nonsense about my family. I don't keep quiet. I just give it to you straight back. And I tell you, you don't know what you are talking of. Why don't you mind your own business? Secondly, through what I have seen, what you have achieved, what you have gone through, to me, I'm still proud. I just feel like some people are talking out of jealousy. So that doesn't bother me. They talk. If I get to hear you by any chance, you are finished. I'll tell you straight in your face, please mind your own business. You have your own children. You don't look after my family. So keep your nose out of my family. As simple as that.
Where did you learn that from? Or was that through life or the things that your parents taught you?
I learned this from my father. He told me, as long as somebody does not contribute to your life, there is no reason why that person should even have the guts to criticize you. You can only criticize somebody you take care of. For example, if I give you money to go to school and you refuse to go to school, I have the right to talk about it. Why don't you go to school? Why don't you do this? I sacrifice my money, I sacrifice my time to do this for you. But a neighbor cannot come and ask you, why doesn't your son go to school? What has it got to do with him? So, to me, people should mind their own business. They can talk, they can say whatever they want. As long as I don't knock at their doors for help, I don't think they have a right
Mm.
to say anything about my family or my children.
Okay, so then how was it for you, besides external people, let's talk internally, how was it for you going back and forth with mum about, let's say, the things that I'm doing? How did that make you feel?
I felt like, as a mother, she had her dreams. She saw you in a different picture the way I see you. She thought maybe you'll be an engineer, maybe you'll be a doctor. Her dreams were totally different from mine. And for me, I'm a kind of person who felt like, you know what, if somebody has a chance, because to me, there are so many things I would have been if I was given a chance.